Hello, this is Mary Eileen Buss. I'm one of the librarians here at the Long Beach Public Library. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make pop-up Valentine's cards. If you got the take and make bag, you have most of the materials, and I'll tell you what else you need. So let me move the camera over so we can see my workstation, and I'll get started. So what we gave you in the craft bag was 2 half sheets of cardstock. This was 8.5 by 11-inch cardstock, and we just cut it in half. And we gave you some colored paper, which we cut a little bit so we have strips. We gave you glue sticks. You can use ordinary glue for this, but glue sticks are better because it's not so wet. We gave you a little heart template, which you will need. You can cut your own if you have to, if you're doing this from scratch. You'll need a pen or pencil. You'll need scissors, and you'll want some markers. And I dropped something over here, so let me go get that. Okay, you'll want some markers to finish the card and write greetings and happy Valentine's Day and all of that. So we're going to be doing 2 styles of pop-up cards. The first one, the easiest one, is just linked hearts that pops up in the middle. So you have your closed card, you open it up and it's popped there. There's 2 ways to do it. This one will open all the way flat if you open the card all the way. You can also do it so that it always stands up a little even when the card's all the way open. And the other kind is more elaborate. It's sort of a flower of linked hearts. If you look at it from the side, you can see these are actually heart shapes, but from the front, it looks more like a flower. So I'm going to start by showing you how to make a symmetrical heart, how to cut a symmetrical heart out of a piece of paper. I'm going to show you with this. If you need to make a template, you'll want to do that. You probably want to put other decorations on. You can use little paper for little hearts. You can use big paper. When I was a kid, I made Valentines for my friends. Used red construction paper, and I cut a big heart, and that was the Valentine, and I decorated it. So what you do to cut out a completely symmetrical paper heart is you fold it over and you cut out half a heart shape. So you go up, whoops. You cut out half a heart shape. So you go up and around, and then you come down to a point, and when you open it out, you've got a heart. And exactly how you curve gives you a different shape. If I do it again and curve it a little differently, and sharper up and around and start curving immediately, and around, and then right back around in. This one's fatter and not as tall. You can see the difference. That's how you do that. And I will save those for one of my cards later. Okay, so we're going to start with this style. The first thing you need to do is figure out which cardstock you want to do for this one. I'm going to use the lighter card that I have. You'll have 2 different colors. If we gave you the kit, it might not be these 2 exact colors, but so what you do is you take your card and you fold it carefully in half. And if you cut it right, you should be able to match up the corners exactly, and then crease it. This makes a fairly small card, but it's a decent one. If you don't have or can't get cardstock, you can actually make a card out of just a plain sheet of typing paper. You fold it down in half so that it's this size. and then you fold it in half like this, and you use it as the base of your card. So as you can see, for this style of linked hearts, it's all the same color because it's all one piece of paper. So take one of your strips, figure out what color paper you want. I'm going to use the red. Oh dear, I didn't have a lighter color of the strip. Well, doesn't matter. Okay, so the first thing you do is you fold it in half carefully, match it up as carefully as you can, and put a crease in it. And then you've got two layers here. You take the top layer and you bend it back right to the edge, corner to corner, and you put another crease in it. And you turn it over and you bend the other side back right to the edge, corner to corner, and you put a crease in it. So what you wind up with is kind of shaped like a W. We want to leave it all folded together. Make sure your folded edges are on the side and the cut edges are top and bottom. You take the heart template, or if you're making one, you need to make one that's a little bit wider than your paper together. Oh, I almost forgot to say. So for this one, you want the paper that you're starting with to be not as wide as the card when you open it out all the way. So a little bit narrower. So these are actually cut down from the full width of a piece of paper because otherwise they wouldn't look right. So you take your heart templates, it's a little bit wider than your folded paper, and you lay it down pretty much as centered as possible. And you draw around the template. Hold it steady so you're drawing in the right place. You don't want it to shift. You draw around carefully around the template. And if it shifts, you carefully move it back to the lines where you've drawn already. And you have this, a heart shape that's sort of cut off on both sides. And then holding your all four layers together, you carefully cut out your shape. You want to cut a little bit inside the lines if you can, so that they're not showing on your finished hearts. But not too much inside, just sort of barely. You're going to want to have a trash can handy so you can throw out your extra little scraps of paper as you go. So you open out your hearts and you see you've got a length like a paper chain. So, like I said, it's kind of a W. You make sure that the crease in the middle is facing up towards you so that it's going to pop up. You open your card out. If you want it to be flat when you open it up, when you open up the card, you just lay it out flat here with the center crease. Remember, it points up, right lined up with the center crease of your card. And what you're going to do is you're going to put glue on the back side of the two end hearts. If you want it to pop up a little all the time, you just bring the two ends a little bit closer together and leave them popping up a little. So I'm going to try to do it like that. Take the cap off the glue stick. Let's see how this cap comes off. Take the cap off the glue stick and you put some glue carefully on the back of one of your outer hearts, right to the edge if you can. And this is the hardest part, getting it positioned right. Just lay it carefully down and smush it around into place. If you've ever done paper dolls, you know what these linked hearts remind you of. Okay, and then the other end piece, you fold back so you can put some glue on that. And you bring it over. Try to get it as even as you can. So you fold them up. Whoops, and I didn't get them quite even and it doesn't squish right. And that's my fault. And you fold it up and you hope you did a better job than I did because mine is not squishing right. You fold it up and you're going to let it set, but when you open it, there's your heart pop up. And you can decorate the rest of the card with markers and other hearts as much as you like. I'll probably put some of these on. These are going to be pretty. And write Happy Valentine's Day, I love you, and whatever you want on your card. So I'm going to put that one aside for now so I can show you the other one. Now this other one is kind of elaborate, as you can see. Put this other card aside too. So this other one is pretty elaborate, and as you can see, it's 3 different pieces of paper. You can either do them all the same color, or you can do them 3 different colors. That's entirely up to you. If you're doing them all the same color, you have to be careful about how you fold and cut the paper, because you have enough paper here to do all one out of the same paper, but only just barely. So it's 3 pieces of paper. You can use all the same colors if you like, or you can do 3 different colors like I did on this one. If you want to do them all the same color, you have to be careful about how you cut, because you do have enough paper to do them all in the same color, but only just barely. So to make sure you're cutting them right, the first thing you want to do is fold your paper in half and open it back out and fold it again the other way. If you're going to use 3 different colors, 3 different pieces of paper, you don't have to do this step. But if you're going to do them all out of the same color, you need to do this because each corner is going to be 1 piece. Okay, so then when you go to your first one, you fold in right to the middle line here and crease it across. If you're doing just one, you can fold it as far as you want. It just has to be far enough that the template's going to fit. And then you turn it, give it a quarter turn, and fold it in again. If you're trying to get it all out of the piece of paper again, don't fold it any farther than this center line. So this bit in the corner here is 4 layers deep. That's what you need. So the corner it's all folds, you take your template and you put it down with the point in the corner. Now you'll notice that this template, it comes straight here, and that's a right angle so that it meets here. That's what you need for this style of pattern. It didn't matter on the first one, but I used the same thing for both because it's simpler. So the point right in the corner, and then we draw around it carefully. And then while it's still folded, we're going to cut out this heart shape carefully. Again, you probably want to cut just inside the lines so that they don't show on your finished product. And then when you have it cut, you open it out and you have a shape like this, which is 4 hearts together. It kind of looks like a flower. Now you need you've got creases across between the hearts. You need creases down the middle of the hearts as well. So before we go any farther, we're going to carefully fold it over diagonally, matching up your ends here as best you can, and crease it. Open it back out. I didn't do that right. I did not do that right. It's not supposed to go across the hump. It's supposed to go through the little valley there. So let me try that again. So I've got an extra crease in mine, and I'm sorry about that. So we put a nice crease in it, down through the middle of the heart, and I'm going to turn it over and fold it the other way so that I've got a reverse crease down the middle of the other pair of hearts. Okay, and you'll see why in a minute. So now what we want to do is we want to fold in two of the sides. You might have to bend some of your creases back the other way. Fold in two of the sides so that you wind up with, it'd be easier if I didn't have the extra creases in it, sorry. Fold in two of the sides so that you wind up with something that's the same shape you cut out in the first place, but it's sort of a fan fold in the middle there with the two sides coming in. And then we do the same thing again with two more pieces of paper. You can either use the same color again, or I'm going to use a different color. So I'm going to put that one that I just cut aside. And I'm going to use, let's see, this is my background. So that's not going to go with it very well, is it? So I'm not going to use that piece of paper. I'm going to use the red and the lavender as the other two. So I'm not trying to do 4, so I don't have to be as careful here. I just have to make sure I'm folding it up far enough and folding it straight. So I'm going to come across and I'm going to turn it and I'm going to fold carefully in again, making sure the edges match and making sure I'm folding far enough up that my template will fit. And I put the template very carefully in the corner with the point where all the folds meet. And I draw around it. And I cut out just inside the lines so that I don't have ink on the edges of my heart. Very carefully. And I open it out. And I fold it crossways so that I've got holes through the valleys of the hearts. And I open it out and I turn it over and I fold it the other way so that it's going through the valleys of the other hearts. And then let's see, I think this is going to work better if I turn it over again and I fold in the two sides and the other two stay flat. And there we are. And I just need one more. I'm going to use the lavender for this. Let me get these other strips out of the way. We can use the rest of the paper later for more hearts to decorate. So I'm going to fold this over. And again, I'm not trying to get it out of 4 out of this, so it doesn't matter if I fold too far. Just have to make sure I fold far enough. Now the template I've got is pretty small, so the hearts here are coming out pretty small. You can see they're a lot smaller than the ones I did here. That's fine. You can do them as big or small as you want. It's just if you're using our kit and you want them all the same color, they can't be any bigger than this or they won't all come out of the same piece of paper we gave you. And we only gave you one piece of paper per color. So that's us and the decisions we made for how much it cost. But you know, you go buy some colored paper from Staples or wherever, and off Amazon, and you can use as many as you want and make them as big as you want. So I cut this out very carefully right inside the lines. And I've got a little bit of ink on the edge of this, and I'm not going to worry about it too much. So I put that aside, and I open this out. So you've got your 4 hearts. And then we want it folded so that it comes through the valley in the center of each heart. And open it out and turn it over. The reason you turn it over is that makes it creased in the right direction so that it's easier to fold them in. Like so. So now we've got the 3 of them. Oh, before I go any farther, let me fold my other piece of cardstock over. Same way we did the first one, we just fold it very carefully in half, match up the corners, push it back, and crease the edge. Okay. So that's going to be our other card. So we take our 3 heart linkages here, and we're going to put glue. You have to decide what order you want them in. I think I'm going to do them like this with the red in the middle. So you take one of your end ones and you put glue on one side of it. And then you put it down on your card. I think it looks best a little ways above the middle, but you can do what you want, with the point towards the center, but not quite touching it. Out 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, and you put it down carefully so that the glue holds. This is why a glue stick is better, because this one I used Elmer's glue and it all squished out the sides and took forever to dry, and I tried to all stick together. It wasn't good. So then you can put glue on this other side of it, or you can put glue on your one side of your second heart. It doesn't matter. And you take your second heart and you lay it down as carefully and exactly as you can. And you press it down for a minute so it'll hold. If you're using liquid glue, you probably want to wait at least 5 and better 10 minutes in between each glue job, or it's all going to stick together and be a mess. And then we put glue on the second one, or as I said the last time, you can put it on one side of your third one. And you put your third one carefully down on top. Squish it in place for a minute. And then you put glue on this third one here. This time you really do have to put it on the heart that's already down. And we put a nice layer of glue on that. I'm getting too much. Put the cap back on so it doesn't dry out. And then we carefully fold the card over and hold it steady. Whoops. Hold it steady. Mush down on it for a minute. And then when you open it back out, you got your flower open. See? Like that. And then we can put more hearts on, or flowers. You can cut flowers out of the paper if you want. That would be pretty. And draw and write on it with your markers. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you have fun making things. If you got one of our craft bags, you're all set. You just need scissors and a pen and some markers or other pens, colored pencils, whatever you want to draw other things on. If you didn't, you need cardstock or folded over paper and some pretty colored paper and glue stick or liquid glue if you don't have or can't find a glue stick. And watch our events calendar if you're local, because we have a new Take and Make craft every month. And hope to see you again.